All right, everyone, welcome back from break. My name is Amihan. I use he and they and they pronouns, and I am your final host for the evening. A little bit more sinister than it sounds, but I promise I'm not going to do anything evil being your final host for the evening. Anyways, enough about me. I hope everybody had a nice little bio break, did some stretches, went to the bathroom. For some viewers, I know it's incredibly late at night and you're probably like snuggled up with a blanket or maybe getting home from work, depending on your time zone. Or it's incredibly late at night. Either way, if your next hour is free, you can round your evening out here at Rainbow Roll Fest. One more reminder about our charity for the day, the PCRF, that's the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. We are trying to reach our goal of $500 for the evening. And if you want to help out, you can type !PCRF in the chat to get to the link and donate to a very, very important cause. To read a little bit about it, it was founded in 1991 by concerned humanitarians in the USA. Over the years, we have sent over 2,000 affected children abroad for free medical care, sent thousands of international doctors and nurses to provide tens of thousands of children free medical care in local hospitals, and provided tens of thousands of children humanitarian aid and support they otherwise would not get. PCRF's impact includes establishing 2 pediatric cancer departments in Palestine, a new PICU, and pediatric cardiology department as well in Ramallah, and many more critical projects to sustainably bolster the region's healthcare system. Our foundation relies on grassroots efforts supported by a worldwide network of thousands of volunteers to fulfill our humanitarian mission. We are a volunteer-based nonprofit, so please join our efforts. That was a message from the PCRF. So absolutely, let's see if we can try to hit a goal of maybe 250 or even 500 by the time Capricious Provenance ends. That would be awesome. That would be amazing. And we are going to move on to our sponsor for the evening before our screening. I want to mention that tonight's festivities, that's how you say that word, are brought to you in part by Certain Death Publishing. And the note from this publishing individual reads, Look, I don't know how to sell any of this stuff. I make games for me, and if you like the same sorts of stuff that I like, you'll like these games. They're all good games. PotatoCubed.itch.io. Buy my stuff, please. I hope that was a good impression. I hope that was sounded even remotely like Certain Death Publishing's voice. Yeah. Anyways, the link will come up when you type !certain in the Twitch chat. Definitely follow that for more information. And now, ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed guests that radiate outside of the divide of gender as well, it is time for our final presentation of the evening, Capricious Provenance. Capricious Provenance is a multi-system AP audio drama fusion set in an arcane punk, partially homebrewed world of D&D 5e's Eberron, featuring elements from Pathfinder 2e and more. After the last war devastated Corvair and their lives, fate follows 4 unlikely friends attempting to grapple with their own destinies as the fate of the world falls into a chaotic uncertainty. Join our heroes as they navigate their ever-changing lives in the wake of destruction, wading in the depths of their trauma as they connect with the troubled people living in a fragmented world. They're an all queer and trans, majority of BIPOC cast of tabletop creatives that bend the rules, change the lore, and break the game to tell a story of fighting tooth and nail against the way things are and daring to hope for change. That is a mouthful. I am one of the players of this game, so I'm particularly excited about this, but I'm really hopeful that you guys will get excited about the screening. So you guys can remain safe. Just so you know, this is a rated R portion of the evening. There are some important content warnings I have to get into before we roll on to our screener. Content warnings include references to drug and alcohol use, fantasy violence, descriptions of injuries, combat sound effects, insect buzzing sound effects briefly, distant sound effects of gunshots and explosions, loss of agency via magic, manipulation and kidnapping, warlock patron trauma, monsters, aliens, amnesia, flirting, romance, and references to sexual intimacy. That was quite a list. I think we got a lot in store. But yes, take a step back if you need to. If any of the subject matter is triggering to you, absolutely take care of yourself and prioritize your safety first before sitting down and listening to something like this. But yes, if you want to follow along, transcripts for all shows are provided on the Rainbow Roll Fest website, and they will also be provided in the chat here. They will be linked here momentarily. But I've stalled enough. It's time to sit back, relax, and watch our final show for the evening. Without any further hesitation, I present to you all Capricious Provenance. Woo. Welcome to the festival cut of Capricious Provenance, a multi-system AP audio drama fusion set in an arcane punk, partially homebrewed world of D&D 5e's Eberron, with elements from Pathfinder 2e. We're an all-queer and trans, majority BIPOC cast of tabletop creatives that bend the rules, change the lore, and break the game to tell a story of fighting tooth and nail against the way things are, and daring to hope for change. Our player characters, Snowy, Finch, Calais, and Sylvanas, must navigate their ever-changing lives in the wake of destruction, wading in the depths of their trauma as they connect with troubled people living in a fragmented world. RGM, Gwendolyn Kelly, opens the podcast with a chilling nightmare sequence that peeks into the backstories of our protagonists.
Finch. An airship doesn't creak like a sea vessel. There is no seawater warped wood, no gentle rocking, no mystery to what is below. So when an airship is shot out of the sky, its pristine aerodynamic body lurches into erraticism from uninterrupted movement towards the Earth. And when you frantically look around, crewmates, barrels, anything that wasn't tied down fly past you. As you reach out for the hand that guided you here, your fist closes on air. Not air, sound. Laughter. Not malicious, just unaware of how lost you are as you fall into... fabric? No, a uniform you wear that denotes your unit. Your gaze falls from the sky to a cephalopod. No, your eyes flicker to a shadow in the corner of your eye. That's what you were looking for. A shadow, no, a woman. With leather riding gloves and a wide-brimmed hat that hide the emerald green eyes that reflected grief instead of light. The light that was no longer there as rain fell onto your face. No, tears that fell in the night as you were stunned into immobility. Your clothes wet from the rain. No, blood from the knife in your back. Your assailant drops the dagger as you turn around. Your enemy, no. Your lover, no. A woman you know who knows nothing of you disappears into the night. No, it's too dark for night. The sky is blocked out by a monster like you. No, an acquaintance. No, a woman whose pale face appears like liquid canvas in a sea of black feathers, roiling like flames around you as you fall to your knees on a path. A path that you've walked before. You feel your body heavy as you lift yourself from the ground, black blood spilling from your wounds as you crawl along the path for an hour, a second, a lifetime, to a black mirror at the end. No, the start. You lift your gaze to glass as you feel the cold prodding of an iron barrel on the back of your head, and you hear the click before you see your own reflection. Calais. At this moment, you could have been dead. At the next, your eldest sister. At the next, your youngest brother. In the moments that follow, so could the end to your family. So could your purpose. This is by design. Your failure hides behind the corner of every second of every hour, and those hours are filled with noise, blood, adrenaline, with death, with careful planning, with panicked improvisation. This is by design. A divine hand lifts a game piece, and you hold your breath for an eternity before it is placed back on the board, and an enemy general is slain. The horror of victory painted across a bleeding oracle, a wayward Ouroboros, a bleeding fury, a stalwart obelisk, a tear-streaked wind, a hoof-beaten light, a newborn goddess. Violence by any name foolishly soaking the soils of a land time has purposefully forgotten, while the pieces dance across the board in anticipation for another game. This is by design. The ringing of victory echoes endlessly, drowning out the hushed contemplations of the observers, developers, parents. A silence not afforded to their children accentuates the varied opinions, the approaching footsteps, the fathomless guilt on which this existence was founded upon. For the children, the pieces in the game, there is no peace. It was never an option. This is by design. But this is all you've ever known. The weariness, the empty, the duty, the purpose. It was all for the end goal. Peace. You believe, in the face of opposition, that the impossible is possible for someone like you. That bloodshed bleeds a path around the failures that live in every moment. This is by design. Snowy. It could have been anybody. The freezing winds howl, the blizzard reducing visibility to a white void. You crouch in the snow, tears freezing against your fur. You are alone. Again? You've been alone before, haven't you? But are you ever alone when you're with a corpse? Not in your experience. They always get back up. But maybe you are still alone. They aren't who you remember them to be. You remember them, right? Him? Your father. The two figures in the distance. Actually, the reanimated corpse lunging for your throat. Who even was that? You lived in a castle. What? A cave. Why would anyone come to a cave? Why would they murder somebody they met there? Your mother, your father, was the kindest man you've ever known. The winds never seem to stop howling, even when you need the silence to mourn, to think, to remember. You don't even notice how you aren't cold at all. You're warm. More than warm. You're burning up. Revenge boils inside of you and threatens to erupt, but all that spills from your screams is more ice, more wind, more endless white void obscuring what you know. The answers are here. They have to be here. That freezing hot fury has to take you somewhere, and you'll find them, the murderer, your memories, your reason for living. You run towards... what? Or are you running away? Why do you never have the answers? You're just like anyone else. Why you? Why is the wind so loud? Why is all that you cared for gone? You can't see anything. Wait. What is that? Who is that? Who are you? You could have been anybody. But instead, you're Sasha. Sylvanas. You were raised in special circumstances. You were given a good life, an amazing friend, and even better opportunities. There was nothing for you to complain about as a child, adopted by the guardians of the Eldian Reaches. You lost nothing from this partnership, save what you didn't know. A clap on the shoulder, a congratulations on your breakthrough. Your academic team rejoices as theory becomes practice. Your accomplishment, while in no small part was due to your intellect and dedication, is credited to you, omitting the watchful gaze of that which allowed you to make this discovery. You lost nothing from this partnership, save what you didn't know. You handed in your research with pride, an advancement in our understanding of magic itself, how it can be manipulated, utilized, harnessed. You continue to learn so much. It was almost too good to be true for a scholar like yourself. Knowledge beyond what is normally possible for anyone. All that knowledge, and your partner, your patron, didn't tell you what became of your discovery. What it actually cost. You're always being watched, but rarely were you told what to watch for. Even when you shed yourself of that forbidden knowledge that poisoned partnership and forged a new path, the eyes of one became many. An audience of the damned to cheer at your accomplishments, to laugh and mourn at your expenses. You watch yourself now across the stage. Your theories, your practice becomes art. Though the music was never quite right. The violin was always more sinisterly sorrowful than what you had imagined. A backdrop to a comedic tragedy you unknowingly tuned out while someone else watched in silence as you lit the fuse to the explosives backstage. But for you, it's a celebration once again. This time of your freedom, your privacy, on display. You lost nothing in this partnership, save what you didn't know. And in all your knowledge, you never knew how much they all knew about you.
This next clip shows a snippet of the day-to-day banter between our protagonists and displays just how much fun we have role-playing awkward situations. I think Kalei would get out of bed, stand up and stretch one more time, trying to get all the sleep out of their body, and they'll ask, "Did you all sleep well last night, or..."
If you count being knocked out as sleeping, then yes, I slept pretty well.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't a dream that Kaza was here last night, right? Like, we all didn't collectively imagine a harpy woman perched in our window.
Sometimes I forget she's a DAS council member, and not just a figment of our imagination.
Finch pushes themselves fully under the bed. You hear shuffling. We'll talk about it later. My head hurts.
That's right. You had a lot to drink last night. Kalei shakes their head at that passively and then looks around the room as if trying to find somebody else. And then they go, "Sylvanas isn't with us, that's right. I wonder how his night went."
I mean, I assume they got laid.
You assume?
Well, do you think Sylvanas can't get laid?
No, that was just a very big assumption on your part, Finch. Maybe they were just kind enough to let them sleep in there?
I don't know about that. I mean, I did say earlier that something may happen with his lady friend. But yes, perhaps he just had a good night and just slept on her couch.
Well, she's very rich, apparently, so maybe she has a guest room.
Ah, thank you for your insight, Calais.
Anyway, where is Podloach?
Yes, where is Podloach? That is the question. Podloach sort of clears his throat, making a sound only a grung can make as he jumps down from being camouflaged on the wall. He grabs his scarf and staff, and he is already making his way out of the room. His little green grung legs carrying him as fast as he can to go retrieve some sort of breakfast downstairs. The kitchen scent is sort of beginning to waft into the room.
Well, Podloach has the right idea, I think. We should probably get breakfast before we're late for the train. Do you need help off the floor?
No, I'm staying here. I'll meet you downstairs.
Clay sort of rolls their eyes. All right, whatever you say. Snowy and I will save you a seat.
Snowy kneels down and reaches under the bed and pats Finch's head a few times. Remember to eat some protein, okay? And then gets up and goes to leave the room.
You're all able to get some breakfast, salted meats, roasted vegetables. And by the time it would have arrived, Sylvanas would have made his way to the tavern.
You'll spot Sylvanas looking a little disheveled, shirt half buttoned, hair tied very messily and loosely. It looks like he just woke up and had a little bit of a entertaining evening. He spots you, gives you a sheepish little wave, and hurries over to the table. Hello, friends. Did you have a nice evening? I got a very fun message from Finch, so I assume it was fun.
Finch slowly looks at you with her one visible eye. I don't... What message did I send?
It was less than coherent, but it sounded like you were happy.
Ah, okay, good. Yes, we did something? We talked to
That's nice. There's a little silence as he kind of glances to the other two.
Clay looks between everyone for a second and then takes the silence as a cue and says, Yes, we spoke to Eye Candy last night. She paid us 200 gold in exchange for us telling her about our adventures in the Demon Waste. Business is booming, as it turns out, and she also gave Finch and I some silly tea.
Silly tea?
Yeah, silly tea, and Finch and I ended up being very silly.
I can't imagine. I really missed out, didn't I?
Indeed. Snowy looks very amused when Calais says this. Oh yes, they were very, very silly. First time they were silly, and I wasn't. It was a very interesting night.
I assume it went well.
All I remember is all the bodies I took shots off of, but, that's it. Ah! Sylvanas, did you have fun in the guest room at your friend's house? And Finch looks at Calais while saying that.
That's many things at once. Body shots? Okay.
I do not remember doing any of that.
I remember all of that.
I don't know what that means, but yes, Finch, I had a nice time. A very nice dinner.
Yes, it looks like you had a great time. Good for you.
Thank you. He blushes. I guess.
Finch just goes back to eating.
Sylvanas looks at Calais, really confused. Like, what?
Calais is still looking at Finch for a few moments, and after another second, they turn and look at Sylvanas and go, oh, pay them no mind. We just had a discussion. about not a discussion, really. It doesn't actually.
Snowy
matter that
leans
much.
forward towards Sylvanas and mock whispers, "They want to know a few facts."
His ears raise, kind of like a cat when they're startled. He looks around between the three of you, blushing, a little nervous. You were discussing that,
Oh, not me, not really. I'm just here for the ride. But these two aren't saying anything, even though they obviously want to know. So,
Well, he sort of, you can watch him sort of absent-mindedly shift to close his shirt a little more. Does it matter?
Calais sort of looks into their goblet of orange juice. It doesn't matter, Sylvanas. I'm so sorry. We weren't discussing it per se. We were just wondering if your night went well.
You two are no fun.
No fun.
No fun.
We're sorry to be a buzzkill.
Sylvanas, looks at Snowy, his eyes just wide and terrified, and then he laughs nervously, kind of tapping his claws on the table, well, yes, I hope that
you shouldn't expect for him to relay this to you in graphic detail. I don't know what your definition of fun is.
Gods, no! Listen. I am so sorry I asked about your fuck details. I will never do so again.
Thank you. No, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I wasn't expecting. Yes, I did, and it was fine. It was.
Okay. And Finch just goes back to eating. They're super hungover and not having a good morning.
Sylvanas just nervously looks at Snowy and mouths, "What is wrong? What happened?"
oh man. Snow was barely coherent when all of that went down with Kaza, so she kind of shrugs and moves her goblet of water towards Sylvanas. Here you go. Just offering him a drink.
Kaza also paid us a visit last night. And that's probably why Finch is in a bad mood.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did something happen with Dask?
Listen. Finch immediately puts their hand in the middle of the conversation, the movement so sudden in contrast to how slow he's been moving this morning. We'll talk about it sometime later. I got some information that I have to look into, but I don't want to do that this morning, because this morning I'm going to have a good morning. And then Finch takes one single potato tot and puts it in his mouth before retracting her hand and no longer speaking.
You were all able to finish up breakfast after an awkward conversation?
This next clip is from the podcast edit of our live-streamed prequel heist one-shot playing 1400 Sneak by indie TTRPG designer Unknown Dungeon. Actually, can I make a toast?
A toast, my friend. You may toast to whatever you like.
Yes!
For what is the occasion?
Well, we're all here. We're all gathered together. And so I think Calais will just raise their glass of sparkling whatever and then hit the side of it with their hand, and they'll go, "Well, I just want to make a toast to all of our old lives and to the new. We should be celebrating. I'm sure a lot of us will certainly look forward to leading new lives with whatever objects we want to win. Some of you here, though, have other goals in mind, right? It appears that one of you has stolen something from me. And I think they're going to use their flashback.
Oh shit, okay.
They had planted something on the halfling woman that belonged to Calais. As they spilled their drink and tried to adjust themselves, it was their pendant. And then they will run up to the halfling woman and then say, "A thief!"
few things happen. When you make this sort of announcement, the room goes kind of quiet and sort of like all attention is turned to you. Then you start making accusations of stealing, and Jolger is like, "Oh, surely not trying to get a word in." And as you run up to this halfling woman, before you can get too close to her, you freeze. You cannot move. I warned you the first time. I told you with your kneecaps, now it's gonna be a whole lot more. How about a rib cage? You got one of those. You got how many ribs? Doesn't matter. You're not gonna have any when I'm done with you, okay? Clay, you were not prepared for getting stopped. And Sylvanas, you can tell that something is going wrong. So what do you do to
Yes.
take some eyes off of this?
I see this, I see my friend Calais, and I remember the promise I made to my friend Calais that if something happened, I would help him. And so, Sylvanas takes another sip of his sparkling wine, and he hiccups again, because he doesn't drink that much. And then, from behind this halfling woman, stepping into frame, he goes, "Alas! You dare accuse me!" and like flings his cloak, kind of like almost covering her and her husband. Like he steps in front of them as if he was making his way towards Calais. Like flings his cloak. "Ah, you found me out. The lunar bandit am here to steal all of your belongings." And then over his shoulder, he turns and goes, "Brought to you by the theater department of the College of Fairhaven." He's going to step up like 1 foot on a table and be like, "Hero, I knew that you would be here to stop me, but see if you can stop this." And then he's going to cast a spell. He's going to cast Blinding Light and make an eruption, like a shower of sparks with magic. Like I'm attacking Calais, but with like fake, like fake prop, like explosions.
Yeah,
they
like a
use in
sparkler
play.
right in front of your face.
Yes, like a sparkler.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll spellcasting, please.
That's a 10 again.
It goes off. There is a Clay in your face, blinding explosion of light. You feel the magic that was holding you slip as everyone around you is completely blinded by this array of sparks and light. And just out of that blast, Finch, you have an opportunity.
This next clip features excerpts from an intense D&D 5e combat sequence that features our party attempting to save Sylvanas from being kidnapped by his former warlock patron.
Alright, so you all prepare yourselves in a matter of 30 seconds, and you wait until Clay. You could feel the energy of that spell returning to you as the Warlock of the Seeker reappears, the orb swiveling around the dwarf's head, and you just hear,
New tricks.
Then the orb shuts up because I shoot it. And that's a 26 to hit.
That definitely hits, so go ahead and roll damage.
That's 32 points of damage as Finch goes, "Oh, shut up," and shoots this thing.
You fire your gun, and you see the orb crack. And you see the bullet lodge in there and crack spiderweb over the face of it. The eye swivels around to look at you, Finch. The Warlock of the Seeker is just going to fly upwards, and is going to take the orb in his hand and sort of tuck it under his arm. And fly over in an arc around your Guardian of Faith, Calais, completely avoiding it. You see that living, writhing, tentacle-like whip in his hands, and it lashes out at you, Sylvanas. Not every fight is a targeted fight, but this one certainly is. And that is going to be a 22 to hit, which, from experience, I already know that succeeds. This whip is going to give you 9 points of slashing damage and 4 points of psychic damage. And as the whip cracks into you, Sylvanas, it hurts. but you also feel a spike in your mind. And you hear, "You don't even know what you've lost. I can give you what you don't even remember." And in that split moment, you have a vision, from your point of view, a POV camera shot. You're much, much younger. Super young. And you have your hand above you because you're holding someone's hand. And you look up, this deep maroon-colored clawed hand. And as you gaze upwards, you see their face, and you recognize that face. But by the time you're brought back, you don't remember anything about their features.
I think that as soon as Sylvanas is brought back, their armor of Agathis reacts to the whip. I imagine the ice kind of like explodes up through the whip, and it hits the warlock for 20 points of cold damage.
That's a lot of damage, but the warlock is going to make another attack. And that is unfortunate because it is a crit. There's going to be 13 points of slashing damage and 8 points of psychic damage. And you feel that spike of pain in your mind again. And you hear, "You don't even remember. You don't even know what you could become, what you're destined for." And you feel another flashback to where you're younger again. Maybe a bit older than when you were from the last flashback, and you see a very young version of Lilac. Green skin, this white curly hair, a single purple flower tattoo curling up her neck. And she says,
"Well, one day I'm gonna be a guardian of all the Ildine reaches. What are you gonna do?"
and before the vision can continue, you are back. And because it was a crit, you are now stunned.
Gah! I can't even do a one-liner!
Snowy, it's your turn.
Okay. Well, the warlock tried to hide the orb away, but I think I'm going to still try and hit the seeker.
The AC is going to be much higher, but you can still attempt to hit it.
19.
19 just misses.
Fuck! I will be shooting again, and that would be a dirty 20. 7 piercing damage.
Yeah, you manage to get it, and the arrow just kind of lodges into this orb, and you see it splinter again. And you see the eyes swing in your direction and intensify. But they've already used a reaction, so it's just an intense gaze.
But Calais is going to use his bonus action to swing their spiritual weapon at the dwarf. That's going to be a 23 to hit.
That hits. Roll damage.
It's going to be 9 points of damage. And I don't think Calais is going to run anywhere because I think they'd get an attack of opportunity. So, yeah.
It's the warlock's turn. He's going to make a dex save because it's within range of the guardian. And fails. They're going to take the full 20 damage as it swings down and slashes through the warlock. It goes through as if it's just made of light, and you can see the radiant energy explode along this individual's torso. And I mean, after all that, he sees that you have a grip on Sylvanas. So he's right up in your face, Clay. And he looks grotesque. You see where new muscle is merging into already formed muscle, and you can see purple blood pouring from the wounds that you've been dealing. And their face is pale, and their hair is thick and wet with sweat and blood. And he just takes the whip that is attached to his arm. And with a life of its own, the whip wraps around Sylvanas and his neck. And after he does this, he leans in real close, holding eye contact with you, Calais, and says, "I only need the one." And you begin to lose your grip on Sylvanas as you see the two of them begin to shimmer and fade as they cast Dimension Door.
Oh, Calais just frantically grasps at the air as they disappear, just going, no, Sylvanas, no!
You cry out at nothing as you see them teleport to the archway on top of the stairs that you know lead downwards into the mountain. He's going to attempt to grapple you, Sylvanas. I need you to make a contested athletics check.
Oh yes, my best skill. That's gonna be a 5 for Sylvanas.
It is not enough. as this whip continues to extend and coil around you. And Sylvanas, you feel the warlock dragging you down, and the light of day vanishes as you move further and further into the darkness of the cavern underneath this mountain. The rest of you can only watch, powerless to help out at all as the Warlock of the Seeker flies down these stairs and out of sight with Sylvanas in tow. What do you all do?
This final clip displays a rare intimate moment of respite between Calais and Finch after the loss of the party guide they hired. Their relationship eventually becomes a core part of the story, two queer trans characters discovering themselves reflected in one another, displaying the tragedy of a star-crossed romance created by the violence of the world they live in.
I think maybe there's an awkward couple of seconds with Finch and Calais sitting next to each other after McMuffin fucking died. And Finch will sort of break the silence and say, "Well, you come here often? To the middle of nowhere, wasteland, with giant fucking electric worms?"
Oh, I could do with less electric worms. And maybe a little bit less snow. I actually thought I'd be more excited to see snow. Calais is like looking around, playing with a branch they used to kindle the firewood to draw a few lines in the snow, and they sigh. It's been quite the week. I'm confident that Snowy's going to be able to lead us in the right direction, but it sucks that we lost our guide so early into the trip.
Yeah, and I mean, I looked for that person, but look, they looked like they knew what they were doing, but apparently not. And if he died so quickly after that encounter, that's not really my fault.
Calais lets a few more moments pass and says, maybe we shouldn't talk about this right now.
You're right. Calais, I was thinking, I am quite cold. Are you cold?
You can see that Calais is shivering despite being pretty close to the fire. I don't know, Finch. It might be a bit brisk out here.
Finch will look Calais up and down with her one eye, very slowly and purposefully, and then they'll go, I heard it's a good survival technique to take off all of your clothes and sleep next to someone. Naked. So, if you get tired and cold,
Right.
I'm here.
Oh, Finch. Calais puts down the branch in their hand, and they weren't necessarily facing her before, so they kind of like scoot over to face her. Any excuse to have me shirtless again, huh?
Oh, wow, so bold. Are we taking our clothes off? Is that what's happening right now? And Finch is just like starting to actually take off all of his clothes.
Oh, no, gods, no, Finch.
Oh, okay, okay.
Please keep your clothes on. I
Alright.
didn't know you were serious. And Calais is panicking. And they move closer in proximity to Finch in an effort to reach over and try to like rebutton up Finch's coat, if that's okay. We are on a watch right now, and all you can think about is taking off our clothes.
Finch gives Calais an amused smirk, and just watches Calais. The flame from the campfire sort of dances in her eye as he stares at Calais. Well, the only thing I came here to watch is you and the fire. So, I'm trying to find a better, less cold ways to take in the view.
And Calais quickly finishes fastening the last button on Finch's clothes and is immediately flustered by Finch's comment. Well, I hope you're enjoying the show.
Oh, you know, It is fun. The way your nose scrunches up whenever I tease you. It's cute.
You don't actually mean that.
Oh, maybe I do.
Well, flattery won't make my clothes come off any faster, that's for sure.
Ah, now look who's thinking about taking off all of their clothes.
Shut up! Oh my god, do you ever stop talking?
Never. But if you wanted me to, I'm sure you could find a way to keep me quiet.
Oh, I feel so special. And Calais rolls their eyes and crosses their arms, and they look back into the fire as if they're thinking about something, and Calais' expression of contemplation here sort of melts into this possibly unfamiliar, soft expression of which one might think is worry, some sort of concern, but you also know that there's something deeper pooling behind it.
Finch watches Calais, with whatever that is, and their smirk sort of fades. You know, Calais, if it really bothers you, I can stop. I was just trying to lighten the mood, and, well, I would hate to make you uncomfortable.
Calais shakes their head, almost as if he's been awoken out of a trance, and they look at Finch, their eyes wide. Oh, you didn't make me uncomfortable, Finch. The opposite of that, actually.
Oh,
Listen,
go on.
I know this is your way of trying to cheer me up, and how do I put this? I think I actually quite like it.
Like what?
Don't make me say it.
Say what, Calais? I can't know unless you tell.
I like it when you talk. I like it when you say these things to me. You get on my nerves, but I don't actually mind it. It's oddly comforting.
Oh. I think Finch laughs a bit, genuinely a little surprised at that response, and goes, well, Calais, if you wanted my attention, you could have just said that in the first place.
Oh, Finch, when you put it like that, you make it sound like like I'm
Yes?
I thought you were cold, Finch. Or is that not still on your mind?
Oh, well, you know, it seems I found something else to keep me preoccupied. But, yes, it's fucking cold out here. My kind offer still stands.
Well, there's other ways to keep warm out here, and I don't think getting naked is conducive to your goal.
Ah, well, you don't know my... Well, Calais, what are other ways to keep warm then, if we're not going to get naked? Do you want to come closer, or are you just going to sit there and stare at me?
I mean, you wouldn't mind if we huddled for warmth. Coats on.
Finch's one eye blinks slowly and stares at Calais for a solid 2 seconds. Yes, I mean, that's why I brought it up a couple of times. And just opens her arm to sort of gesture that he can come closer.
A small grin starts to form on Calais' face, and they hesitate at first. But then they try to fit themselves into the crook of Finch's arm. And Finch can feel that they are so tense. And they go, Are you warm yet?
When Calais actually cozies up next to Finch, the first thing that he'll notice is, despite Finch talking so straight-faced and not really showing any expression, she's fucking cold. Like, freezing. And when Calais gets closer, Finch will shove their bodies closer together, despite how rigid Calais is. What? I don't even. What? It's so fucking cold out here. Holy shit! Oh my god, how are you so warm?
Uh,
This is nice. But also, I can't see shit, so please do look for the worms. I don't want to fight another one of those.
I will look for worms as long as you keep holding me like this. And Clay sinks into Finch's arms, leaning against her shoulder.
Finch will grip Kalei a little bit tighter and go, "Ah, well, good luck trying to get out of this grip."
And I think the scene will end with them cuddling in front of the darkness of the evening.
With Finch still shivering.
Hi, everybody. That was Capricious Provenance. I got a little saucy there at the end between Finch and Calais, a little late night romp. But yes, I really all hope you enjoyed watching, listening, if you're doing something else. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did editing it. I had a lot of fun doing it. But yes, that was our final screener for the evening, and really none of these festivities would have been possible without our sponsors. And I've got a little late night sponsor by the name of Alderdoodle. Impress your players and make them go, ooh, with beautifully crafted paper TTRPG accessories designed by Alderdoodle. Spell scrolls, note cards, tarot cards, and more. Shop now at alderdoodle.co.uk. All right. The link will come up when you type !doodle in the Twitch chat. So when you type that, you can follow a link and it will take you right to the goods. But yes, it is the end of the first day of Rainbow Roll Fest. The theme was Better Together, Found Family. It is getting rather late, but I've got a few more things to mention before I say goodnight to everybody. A few important things. It's been a long day of actual play. And if anything today tickled your fancy in particular, if any player from any of these games that were displayed, any GM, or just a favorite moment, anything that you feel deserves a bit of your merit. If something comes to mind when you think about that, we've got some good news. This year, in addition to the awards we present from our judges panel, we are hosting crowd favorite awards every single day. So there's a favorite from Friday, there's a favorite from Saturday, and there's a favorite from Sunday you guys can vote for. You get to vote on which players, GMs, casts, and shows you think are outstanding. And we will be presenting 4 crowd favorite awards for each day of the festival coming this Sunday when we award our awards. But yes, to vote for your favorite player, GM, cast, or show of the day, you can go to the Google form linked in the chat before midnight Pacific time or 3 a.m. Eastern time. So y'all still have like couple more hours until you can until the voting closes for today, in case you missed something or in case you need some time to deliberate and decide. But yeah, it's also pinned in the Rainbow Roll Fest Discord. If you're a part of the Discord, if you want to join the Discord, it's absolutely available on Rainbow Roll Fest social media. And I think the last couple of things I gotta do before we round it out for the evening is mention that we have been raising money all day today for the PCRF. That is the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. We were aiming to raise $500. I'm gonna check the goal here to see if we made it. Unfortunately, we did not make $500, but we still made a whopping $125 thanks to a recent $10 anonymous donor. It's much appreciated. The Palestine Children's Relief Fund envisions a world where all children in the Middle East have access to quality medical care, humanitarian aid, and specialized surgical procedures. You can type PCRF in the chat to donate. There's still time to donate. You don't even have to donate while I'm up here, while this is streaming. You can donate a lot later. Donate as much as your heart would like to at this present moment. But yes, it is a very important cause, especially with everything that's going on around the world. We absolutely want to support Palestinians and the Palestinian children as they are continually enduring suffering on behalf of so much devastation and war. And yes, I will move forward to mentioning that the only reason we're all here tonight is because of the Rainbow Roll Network. We are extremely grateful for your donations and extremely grateful for being present for this year's Rainbow Roll Fest. It is hosted by the Rainbow Roll Network. And the Rainbow Roll Network is an event-focused cooperative network for the LGBTQIA plus led creator-owned actual play podcast and streams. So that means everything you saw today was created by somebody who was queer and or trans and or any other letter on this spectrum you can possibly think of. There are a number of members and shows and actual plays that are part of this network. From limited run audio fiction to long form anthologies, our member shows work together to build the network and community that works best for them while putting on events to share their knowledge, show off their awesome work, and raise funds for queer charities and more. And if you want to learn more, you can go to www.rainbowroll.network. If you're able to do so, we would really, really, really appreciate help in covering the costs of Rainbow Roll Fest. And you can donate to Rainbow Roll Network at their Ko-fi. You can type !tip in the chat. !tip. You will be given a link to the Ko-fi if you would like to donate some money towards the staff this evening. It will go directly towards paying the staff, all the hosts you saw today, all the hosts you will see tomorrow, and all the hosts you will see the day afterward, including the producers that are working behind the scenes to make the transitions that you see here seamless and possible. Absolutely, they deserve a bit of pay too as well. So absolutely go ahead and tip them if you feel generous. Yes. All right, it is getting rather late and I don't want to hold you up any longer. Once again, this was all presented by Rainbow Roll Network, our stories, our voices. It's time for us to bring this evening to an end, and I want to thank all of you once again for being here and supporting Rainbow Roll Network and supporting all these wonderful actual plays. I really, really hope you enjoyed the last segment there. If you had any favorite parts, you can chat about it here or in the Discord. Today was the first of many, and it will continue tomorrow starting at 11 a.m. sharp with Reroll, The Sprout of Fire. And then we have a long and exciting weekend following that, all culminating in a final awards ceremony on Sunday. We definitely hope you stick along with the ride. I have been your host, Amihan, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Get some good rest in, prepare for the showcase. Sweet dreams, everybody, and have a good